Returning to the Impala has me fearing a jinx. If all goes well, we'll be looking at a triple play parlay. If you're following this build, you know that kind of trifecta for straight success is far more odd than even. The guys aren't the gamble, but everything else is.
Window regulators, bumper, wiper system, console.
Divide and conquer?
Yeah, actually I'm gonna have Carlos start out on the heater.
Okay.
I'll have you start out on the gauges on the bench over here, and let's get the party started.
All right.
On the heater install, we put the heater underneath the dash. We had made some brackets, that way we can bolt it up to the firewall. While I was working on the heater, Dan was working on the dash cluster. He was installing new gauges in it, doing some painting on it, that way it looks new.
At first glance, this original cluster looks fine. A little tired, maybe. Most guys would leave it be. Not classic. They sell this stuff, so why not put in the latest, greatest, and cleanest?
The second thing I had to install was the linkage for the wiper system and the motor. Wiper system was already in the car before. It's the factory stuff, so we just wanted to make sure everything was still gonna go in there.
If there's one component that'll see the least work, it's wipers on a show car. The only moisture this car is gonna get is from drooling admirers.
The power window assemblies that we got are actually very new to the market. They use GM motors and GM switches, which I like a lot. We quickly realized once we installed them that the bolt pattern was off just a little bit, but enough to really make the install a problem.
Comparing to an original showed the problem fast.
They're not the same as these. These are a lot wider than these.
Oh, yeah.
So if you put it right, that's where it should be. Right. And if you notice, if the arm comes down, this is still gonna be longer.
Windows can wait. We'll pass on powered glass for now and steal home with a little chrome.
On the bumper install, we just had to take the stock one, take all the brackets off the stock bumper.
Yes, cars come apart in pieces, but then pieces can come apart in pieces too. This rear end wraparound will need a little mix and match to fit right. New brackets are available, but hiding some old holds behind some new shine will ensure a tight fit. Any old hardware installed will get a complete cleanup.
The bumper that we got from Classic Industries actually assembled quite well. We decided to go with the original bracketry just because it fits the frame usually a little bit better than the aftermarket stuff. But when we had the bumper fully assembled, we went to throw it on, we actually realized that there are some brackets that mount to the frame that are welded to the frame that aren't there. The reason probably is because I think we might actually have an earlier frame than a 64, and I don't believe that on the earlier frames they had this bracket. That doesn't allow us to mount our bumper up, so we just kind of threw it up there with some zip ties to see how it fit, make sure it fit the body correctly. And then what we'll do is we'll actually rob the brackets that we have off of the 64 in the back that we keep stealing parts from, and we'll weld them onto the frame that we have.
While Carlos keeps busy cutting components, our cluster is dry and ready to reassemble. A little bench work is always a nice break. Getting the gauges positioned is a breeze. My worry is wiring. Having the turn signal come on when you pump the brake just won't cut it.
Gauges weren't in bad shape, but since we offer new gauges for the car, we wanted to install them. We have direct fit OE-style replacement gauges, and just bolted them back into the old housing, took the housing apart, cleaned it up, prepped it, painted it, bolted the new gauges in, installed the new gauges, put a new lens on, dropped it in the car. Real simple, easy, do-it-yourself project that makes a big difference to the appearance, to the inside of the car.
It may not be a dramatic improvement, but once some paint hits this dash, those gauges will pop.
Today I brought out the 64 Impala console. It comes completely assembled, ready to drop in, has all the trim on it. Well, this car was originally a 4-speed car, and it has a hole through the floor in a different spot than what we need for the console. So what we'll do is we'll just relocate the shifter into the correct position, the stock position, and then if anything's left of the original hole, we'll just weld it tight.
We're at the phase in the build for the Impala team where every little component is a big deal. If this was baseball, it would be the dog days of summer.